What? What? What?
Hello, and welcome to the Decibel Boost Podcast, the official music podcast of the website Surreal Resolution. I'm your host, Robert, and I am so glad I'm not Mike Michaud right now. And with me, I have...
I'm Alex, and my morale is higher than the entirety of the Faceless.
And...
Isai! Oh, Master Koi! Well, that shit gets on.
Have we identified that person in those clips, by the way? No one? You have no clue?
You mean the sub or the double? I don't know.
I mean the person.
Oh.
In those videos. Because you know that's going to be like the next big con thing. Like, it's up there with spiders and Deadpools. It's just going to be like every other motherfucker doing Isai, Haramasukoi. You know, the ones that are flexible enough to. Which won't include me. But, yeah, so, episode 73. How have things been going with y'all?
Pretty good, I guess. Got a little sick last weekend, so I had to get more medicine, which, that's always fun.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, but on the plus side, tomorrow, I'm going in for a drug screening and a background check to where I can hopefully start working again.
Yay!
Yeah, had a good interview last week. So yay, I'll be back to being a regular jack-off again.
You can make that bank.
Yes, and the schedule I've been told I would get won't interfere with all this stuff either.
Nice.
Yay! Hey.
Very nice. And hopefully I'll be able to ride that job until, I don't know, something happens.
You finally start up that YouTube channel and begin successfully competing with Spectre Media.
I don't think I can compete that hard, but I'll touch on that when we get to the song discussion because Glenn Fricker would not be very happy with some of these guys.
I guess we'll find out what that means when we get there. And from the sound of things, it seems like maybe Mark picked up your cold.
Yeah, that's what happened. All week. Well, at least weekend. I guess. I mean, I've been taking stuff like Quelle and medicine and eating chicken noodle soup and making sure it's causing it. Like stop it. Like make sure the ceiling fan turns off because at least when the light is off, because I can't turn it off when it's on. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it's just been all that. But you know what? At least I try. But you know what? At least I try to start watching the Joe McHale show on Netflix. Pretty good, by the way. I did get an episode where you was talking about that. You saw the international thing where there's an anime with a girl. Is that fun? Is that streaming somewhere?
YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah,
that
it's
sounds
one of
about
those
right.
shows where it's Henki Shoujo, by the way, and it's on the YouTube channel of the studio who made it.
Oh.
I guess I'll have to hunt that down.
Yeah, it's only like 1 minute episode, so it's really short.
Oh.
That's about right. Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyway, as for me, well, some things happened. Perhaps the big one, I got paid this past Friday, and I had some coupons on hand, so I was able to score me Splatoon 2 for only like $20.
Hey, now you can do Splat Tim with the rest of us.
And salmon runs.
Yes.
Which I tried that out once. I didn't know that was on like a really specific schedule, because I tried to go back to do it again, and apparently it's not open. That seems weird, don't it?
Yeah, it's like the bug catching contest. But hopefully you'll be able to do the Octo expansion with the rest of us, with the one Octoling who looks suspiciously a lot like Sasha Banks for some reason.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun as hell. Like I don't know, I have no idea why people are griping about $20 for a single player. Like it's 80 goddamn levels.
Yeah.
And have you seen the levels in like the single player Splatoon? Those things can go on for a bit. Those things are pretty long. I'm sure $20 will be more than worth it. Also, on another related note, I have now developed, or rather exponentially increased, my fears of Florida infrastructure.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I had to work at that time, so I was away from the school, but, like, okay, that's the path that I actually take whenever I have to go between my job and, you know, my college, you know, that place, and it's like, I remember the week I saw them constructing it, I was like, wait, they got, like, fucking half a bridge done already? It's like, that wasn't even there last week. What the fuck are y'all doing? And then the week later when they said, oh, the bridge is done, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, there is no way. There is no way you finish the bridge in a week. And as we all saw how the news played out, very tragic, horrible things happened.
Mm-hmm.
Which means the President of the United States had to put my university's words in his mouth. Very insincerely. Ugh.
Goodness gracious.
Seriously, that's the thing you need to understand about, like, Florida infrastructure. There's always something under construction somewhere at some point, and everything kind of looks like it's made from, like, WD-40 and duct tape. It's really terrifying if you live here for long enough, and Jesus fuck.
Oh.
Jeez, imagine, like, the fucking families grieving and shit, all because of, like, accelerated bridge construction from a company that, last I checked, was also apparently, like, sued for, like, malpractice and this kind of thing, like, 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah,
What
they don't have the cleanest of pasts.
Yeah. Jesus fuck.
Who hired them motherfuckers?
Apparently, the city did. Or the university, or whoever the hell was involved in that. And for that record, who the fuck does safety tests on a bridge without closing off the street? Even I know that, and I'm not even a fucking, like, construction major or anything.
I'll just say, because Florida.
Yeah, pretty much.
I would mention the Florida man, but I don't know if he's involved in this shit.
Very possibly, yes, maybe. But that's enough of my business, so now let's move on to the stuff where we can have some fun. The new song discussions, which of course start right now, and remember to check the description for the playlist so you can follow along with us as we're talking about this stuff. And, you know, I said we were going to have some fun, but instead we have to start off with, Dear Lord, I am so very fucking disappointed. So, we finally got the album announcement from Parkway Drive following the single they released, like, I think it was last episode or the episode before, I want to say, but sometime in the past 2 weeks. So, they announced a new album coming out May 4th called Reverence. We got the second single from it, The Void, and I got my hopes up for nothing. This is as generic of like a whoa stomping, fist pumping radio hard rock ballad, fucking 5-finger death punch bullshit as you can even get. I don't even know what I'm supposed to say about the song other than the most interesting part about it is the video, not just because of how it's shot, but because of the part where it clearly looks like fucking SWAT teams are trying to arrest these guys, and I like to imagine it's for the crime of recording this song. Your efforts are noted, sirs.
Yeah, this is certainly solid enough active rock, but it's just kinda boring. Like a slower Hell Yeah crossed with 3 Days Grace.
Yeah, dude, no, you have no idea how boring. Like, you gotta go back and listen. Just go to the album Horizons, their second album. Pick any one song off of that, and then compare it to this, and you're gonna be like, wow, you guys are like All That Remains, except even more of a letdown.
I believe it. This is just nothing to say. It was a bore.
Now, let's move on to the next song here. One of my personal favorites in the brutal death metal genre nowadays, a band called Skinless, who've announced their latest full-length album, coming out the week after Parkway Drive's album on May 11th. It's called Savagery, and we have the title track from the album as the lead-off single. And while many things can be said about Skinless, one thing you cannot say is that these are not men of their word, because this song certainly is savage. Delivers on its title quite clearly. It wavers wildly between, like, the slamming, like, gravity blast and fucking chugging tremolo, low, muddy riffs, with those occasional, like, you know, more stable kind of, you know, drum and guitar grooves. You know, just this whole, all these layers of atmospheres. There's, like, buzzing, but it's also howling into this fucking wall of sound, especially with those, like, cool guitar solos that echo into the void and everything, and that fucking heavy as shit breakdown near the end. See, like, this can be at least fun. It's like, fucking, you know, maybe Parkway Drive needs to be doing some brutal slamming breakdowns now. It would probably help their image.
I'll be honest, after listening to that new Rivers of Nile album on repeat for the past couple days, which, stay tuned for that, this feels kind of samey to me. It's heavy, for sure, but it gives me really nothing to work with. I'll explain what I mean by that when we do the roundup, because I will have a big thing planned about my personal grievances with, you know, the more hardcore side of death metal. But I mean, sure, it's a good song. I just feel nothing for it. However, right away, that guitar tone sounds like fried assholes. Please tell me they didn't record the guitars in a Line 6 Spider 5.
I don't know, you'd have to, like, check Gear Gods for that or something.
It just sounds like fried assholes.
How did I figure this was going to elicit the Glenn Fricker in you?
I was led astray when I was a young lad, and now I have seen the lights. And I cringe every time I go to Guitar Center and hear somebody play on a fucking Line 6 amp. Ugh.
I bet you do. But yeah, that's Skinless, so now let's move on, once again, to the dear old duo of Jean Grae and I'm still not sure if it's pronounced Quelle or Quelle Chris.
Quelle.
So
okay, I'll take over.
No, go ahead.
All right.
I was gonna cue you in, but go ahead.
All right. So you know the album's due out next week, and of course another single out called Zero. And I will say this is mostly Jean Grae taking over for rapping. Chris is just, you know, on the producing skill on this, and he's with Jean Grae. She does a good job. She got some good bars on this. Like on the first page, she got hacksaws, grab black right with the minor off, smack pulse with the catch from the Donner Party. That's a body party. Sierra Nevada. I'm Hunter's lawyer with Scared Nana. Paranoia. I'm on your Mariana. Like there be some good dope bars on here, especially on production, which is of course, and the video. Which get this, the music video is like their version of, you know, those old 80 arcade games. You know, one of those, like, it's like either.
It looks like Nightshade.
Pretty much that. You get a figure any old arcade games you play in there, and it's basically like that. Like everything, like the music sounds very, you know, very arcade and video game. You know, with the synthesized bleeps and blues and all that shit, which I heard that they spent a lot of time directing, like, a lot of work on this music video, because I heard that shit took a long ass time, it shows. I mean, you should because it's a damn good music video, especially with Jean Grae fighting alongside with a cat.
Yeah, there's all kind of weird video gamey goodness in this. In fact, for a second, I thought this was directed by that same person that does, like, those pixel art, like, video game themed bumps on, like, Adult Swim from time to time. You know the ones I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think what you mean. It seems like something that I will see on Adult Swim.
Yeah, but I don't think it was the same person, although I'm kind of blanking on the director's name at the moment. But to everyone involved in this, good for y'all. You made a damn cool video and a damn cool song, even if I'm still not entirely sure what Jean Grae was rapping about, if anything. It still sounds cool as fuck.
Yeah, it does. I can't for the whole album when it comes out. It comes out next week, March 30th.
Hot damn. And now, let's move on to the next song here, where I'll let Mr. Alex take over from here. So go ahead, sir.
All right, we have the second lead-off single from TesseracT's new album, due out on the dank day of 420, this time entitled King. And I'll say this video makes absolutely no sense at all. None of this
Welcome
made
to the
any
club,
sense.
pal.
Yeah, seems to be a theme this week anyway. But yeah, this track has a bit of a slower groove to it. It's more akin to some of the tracks from Altered States, only it's with Dan Tompkins, not Ash O'Hara. And the track has a bit of a sinister edge to it in its heavier sections and its chord progression. And it just builds up to this bellowing scream of, "Bow down!" Which, oh, that's so good. Before going back and forth with its heavy sections and its softer melodic sections. And then it just sort of carries off to the end with this very soft little string and piano section. This is very good. This is very, very good. It's getting me more excited for this new release.
See, what I thought it reminded me most of was actually the song Dystopia, which was the opening track from their last album. Just specifically because of that tone and how it's played, like, you know, those gent, like, low-end notes, like, you feel it, like, burn, burn, like, just feel that syncopation, you know, just fucking slapping you in the face. You know, like that song, except minus, like, you know, the sort of double time, like, verse groove parts. A lot of this is sparse and very elongated, especially with those, like, you know, more melodic parts and everything.
Yeah, there's a bit of that on the track Nocturne as well, which is why I brought up the Altered State album. That's what it reminded me of the most.
That's the best kind of just really good, you know, slapping, genty, good tone, goodness thing. I'm looking forward to this album as well. Is the thing I'm trying to say here. Now, let's move on to another March 30th project. This one an EP, a collaborative effort from a project dubbed Flame One. This involving two producers, the so enigmatic Burial, and another guy called The Bug. I have no idea who The Bug is.
Why that sounds like a sitcom.
Yes, it's a UK garage sitcom, yeah. Or whatever genres they work in. I probably spoke erroneously and out of turn. I apologize, sirs. But yes, they're releasing a split EP called, or rather just a 2-track EP called Fog/Shrine. And of course we have the Fog half of this. So, you know, listening to it, it is a very dynamic sort of, but low-key moody kind of song. There's this very rumbly bass tone and the drums kind of shift dynamics. Like, it goes like, you know, every 2 snare hits, there's a shift between, like, you know, it crescendos and the decrescendos, you know, soft, loud, soft, loud. As it gets, you know, more and more into it, there's also, like, those bits of, like, rainfall or, like, staticky audio with these occasional, like, howls that, you know, reinforce this kind of very stormy atmosphere, like a fog, basically, especially the way, you know, it fades out with, like, those weathery soundscapes taking over. This is, I'll have to keep an eye out for when the other half of this thing drops, because, again, there's only 2 songs, but I'm liking this. No one else?
I listened to it. I honestly don't have a whole lot to say about it. I like the sort of, well, I guess you could say minimalist vibe to the whole, you know, ambient soundscape, but that's pretty much all I can say about it.
But anyway, let's move on from, you know, electronic to noise rock. Yeah!
Woo!
New single from the band Wrong from their April 13th release, Feel Great, and this one, another very appropriate song title. It is called Zero Cool. See, Jean Grae was Zero, but this is Zero Cool. Zero fucks given, Zero Cool. There's a motif here, you see. There isn't a motif. But yeah, this is another one of those things that's, like, very much in the vein of Helmet, especially, you know, this gritty, driving, like, kind of 6/4 tempo with, you know, the occasional rhythmic off-kilter displacement, a lot of stop-start momentum, drives very fast, hits pretty hard, and then, the entire back half of the song, like, because it's like about 3 or 4 minutes or so, and after like 2 minutes, it just becomes like this, wall of amp distortion and feedback from like all the guitars and shit. So it like the first half brings the rock and then the back half brings the noise. I can jam with this.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Pretty solid noise rock with plenty of texture and a full spectrum, but that second half just goes nuts on everything. Pretty sick.
Yep. And now moving on to another song here, one that's just okay, I suppose. From the long-running nu metal act Sevendust. They've announced their latest album, All I See Is War, coming out May 11th. Though, personally speaking, I'm probably gonna, be listening to Skinless more than this, I guess. But, yeah, we've got the lead-off single, Dirty, and, yep, this sounds like some nu metal, alright. Though, thankfully, more tolerable, because, Lahone Witherspoon isn't insufferably annoying like certain other nu metal vocalists I could name. Durst. But, this sounds about fairly standard. It's got that, mid to fast paced kind of bouncy nu metal groove. The guitars chug pretty standardly. The chorus sounds a bit like Howard Jones era Kill Switch Engage, like with how the riffs are constructed and everything. I'll give it that it has some strong production behind like the guitar tones and everything, because everything sounds like, just really, solid and low end. But other than that, it's just, if you're familiar with Sevendust, you pretty much know the drill by now. Except I didn't know these guys were on Rise Records. When did that happen?
Couldn't tell you. And I'll say this, I've never been too deep into Sevendust. I don't know, I just never really got that deep into them. So all I can say about this track is,
Yeah, pretty much. But now, let's go back to Mark, who's going to close us out with the last song of discussion this week. So, go ahead.
Hey, guess who's back?
I don't know.
Hey, it's Kitty.
Yay!
Hey, so as I should know, from last year, she released her album last year, which I put on my honorable mentions, and now she got a new Adult Swim single on us, and it's called Reccord with 3 C's in them.
Reccord.
Yeah. And of course, in case you know, in case most people haven't known from Kitty, sound like she is now going to that more electro pop sound, which I've been liking from whenever I post on this record. I'm sorry, Reccord. Record, like, right? It does have this sort of like this soft yet kind of hard, this soft yet percussion like sound, and look, it's like I'm like a broken record, aren't I? How I'm trying, and that repeats no all that shit. The shit sounds kind of. I'm liking what she going for. It's like we hear all the same melodies in my head. Everything how everything said are stuck to my fucking head. All that shit.
Yeah, I'll say this, if a Sorry Love Song was like an 80s Miami dance song, this sounds like a 90s Miami dance song. Like, this sounds like if CNC Music Factory was trying to be sexy, instead of just, annoying. It's a good beat, it's a good, electro pop, techno beat kind of thing here. Only thing that kind of bugs me is that there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of Kitty herself in this. It's like, she does do some singing, but it's like most of her presence is in the form of like glitchy, chopped up vocal samples. But I mean, that's just a minor nitpick.
I can see your point with that. I mean, the I'm like a broken record part just kind of get a bit, on it, but it's still okay track. I was listening to it.
Oh, hey, broken record! I just got it. But yeah, that covers this past week's entry for AS singles and, just the song discussion in general. So we're going to take our usual break, and when we come back, we've got a few news topics to discuss here. So don't touch that dial, kids. And we're back. So
and ready.
we got 3 news topics here, so might as well start right here with the first one, a festival lineup for the good old Pitchfork Music Festival 2018 edition, taking place July 20th to the 22nd in Union Park, Chicago. 3 days, lineup with a whole bunch of all the cool bands that all your cool friends with cool taste are all probably listening to. Yeah! I assume. I don't have friends.
Who does?
Well, people that aren't me, probably.
That drunk?
I'm not even going to respond to that. But anyway, let's just go down this lineup here. So I'm going to get things started off with Friday, July 20th. Your big booked acts here are Tame Impala, Courtney Barnett, Mount Kimby, Big Thief, Earl Sweatshirt, Sid, Julian Baker, Saba, Open Mike Eagle, Julie Byrne, Joshua Abrams and Natural Information Society, Lucy Dacus, Milk Belly, and The Curls. Decent stuff there. Any bill with Mike and Earl is going to be some good stuff. Who knows, you might even be able to wear your official Earl Sweatshirt branded clothing line products to the event.
Are you telling me I can get an Earl Sweatshirt themed sweatshirt?
Yes, in fact, I think you can.
The marketing speaks for itself.
Anyway, either of you want to take on Saturday?
Okay, I'll do it.
All
right. Saturday we have Free Foxes, The War on Drugs, Blood Orange. Okay, hey, Raphael Sadiq. All right. This is not this heat. What is then?
That seems like very clunky naming.
Moses Sumney, Quelle, fuck that name up.
Kalela.
All right. Girlpool. Okay. Caitlin Aria Smith.
Come on, Mark. We're gonna have to talk. I think we already talked about her actually. It's all some singles. No, wait, I don't think we did. But you're gonna have to remember that name when we do.
Okay, Caitlin Aurelia Smith.
Aurelia
Smith. Okay, damn. Circuit the... Oh, fuck. Right.
Circuit debut?
Okay, that... Oh, damn, I can't... Oh, damn it. Nufia Yanya... I'm guessing.
Nidufurianya, however you say that.
Okay, guess that. It's all Jesus. I got that name right.
Yay.
Burhana and Paul Cherry.
Yeah, this seems like the indie rocker, R&B, and electronic cool kid day.
Yep.
So then I suppose that just leaves Sunday then. Sunday.
Mind if I take this one?
Might as well.
Okay. I'll save the headliner for last because you gotta build up anticipation. So rounding out this bill, we have Shaka Khan, Drum,
nice.
No Name, Japan Droids,
I like him.
parentheses Sandy, Alex G, Alex Cameron, Smino, Japanese Breakfast, Kelly Lee Owens, Raven Lene, Kwiku Collins, Irreversible Entanglements.
That sounds like a slam band.
We have Namdi Agbonya. I think I said that wrong.
Definitely.
Yeah. But your festival closer, Miss Lauryn Hill, with the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill 20th Anniversary Performance.
I assume that's a good thing, right?
That's a very good thing.
Yeah, it is.
I really need to actually get around to Lauryn Hill at some point.
Yeah.
Well, she ain't got much out. She got like, I guess, 1 or 2 albums in her whole career. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know, like, you know, well, solo stuff. I know you got stuff with the Fugees and all that shit.
Huh.
Yeah. It
And
had
see, kids,
10.
this is
had-
why I'm not invited to these festivals.
Yeah, worth noting, it had 10 Grammy nominations back in 1998, and it won 5 of them.
Not bad.
Yeah. Including
So-
Album of the Year.
Oh, interesting.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I recognize like a third of these artists. That's got to count for something, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I assume the Pitchfork crowds, their readers, and people who like these bands in general are, if you all go, you're all going to have a fun time. So, enjoy Chicago Union Park without me, kids. And I won't get to have delicious Italian beef sandwiches. I've been watching Man vs. Food clips. Bite me. And no, not like that. Anyway, moving on to the second story here. So, let's flash back to the good old days of the early 2000s with it feels appropriate since we just passed the 21st anniversary of Toonami. My favorite block is old enough to drink. And if you kids are wondering, I am going somewhere with this. So Toonami's bread and butter was pretty much always its, afternoon, after school run, get home from school, do your homework, then you can watch Goku beat the shit out of Frieza. And also, presumably, Yu Yu Hakusho stuff as well. Dark Tournament for life. But as, things went on and it built more clout, they experimented with different runs at different times of day. Perhaps most notably, there was The Rising Sun, which was, weekend, I believe, Saturday mornings. And then, of course, the Midnight Run, where they got away with airing unedited versions of some of their quintessential programs, like Gundam Wing. Now, I bring this up because it seems like MTV is going to attempt to do a similar kind of branding exercise. One show airing at 3 different times a day. But instead of something that's proven, with clout and could get away with it like Toonami back in the day, we're instead talking their current ongoing version of Total Request Live.
Which I thought this shit got canceled, but turns out nope.
I did too. But, shit like this is why I should learn to never trust TMZ. So, anyway, earlier, this week, the, fucking tabloid news reporter actually reported that MTV apparently pulled the plug on their new awful version of TRL based on, internal emails claimed for the network. However, in a subsequent interview with The Hollywood Reporter, President Chris McCarthy disputed this report and saying not only is TRL going to be continuing in the afternoon, but they're also going to be expanding, saying, quote, "It's thriving, we're expanding the franchise, and we'll have 3 TRLs by summer." And, yeah.
Wait, so
These plans... Okay, so the show's currently on hiatus. It's planned to return April 9th. And its new ventures include a morning show called Total Request AM and an evening version, Total Request Late Night. So, that's who the hell's gonna be watching this? I mean, like, okay, so the show has been getting trashed, like just fucking annihilated in reviews. Like, pretty much everyone agrees the only good thing to come out of this TRL reboot is Brockhampton's performance of Boogie, and not to mention, apparently its October premiere, and perhaps maybe consistently to its ratings afterward, only pulled in about 166,000 viewers.
Yeah.
damn.
It doesn't do very well in the numbers, like, at all.
Like, those would be impressive numbers for first week album sales from a pretty big metal band. Like this, I'm pretty sure this is something that almost falls in line with like Slipknot's overall record sales, like, their first week and everything. But for a fucking like major network like, that's just sad.
Yeah.
Fuck,
So-
dude, I'm even pretty sure like the Twin Peaks finale pulled in more viewers live than this shit does. God damn.
Yeah.
So next time, remember when somebody talk about Toonami dying, they got more ratings than this shit.
Mm-hmm.
5 times as much, in fact.
It's worth noting I'm trying to go through Showbuzz Daily cable ratings articles. I can't find TRL anywhere. They only list the top 150, and yeah, I can't find it.
Wow, that bad. Holy
It's
shit.
that bad.
That bad.
Man, this is McCarthy here sounds stubborn as hell. If his ratings are this bad with one iteration, what does he think having 3 is going to improve? It's going to be like fucking what Square Enix did with Final Fantasy 13. Like, we're going to shove this down your throat, and you are gonna like it.
Oh, and I love that he added, we have no plans of not having TRL on the linear network. There will be a time where we don't have it on, so it's been killing it for us. Really? It's more like it's killing itself.
And your whole network, pal.
Because who's gonna watch? Because who's gonna watch it at late night? I'm like, oh boy, 3 a.m. We'll watch basically the same shit y'all been doing recently. Only thing is like, damn, like we said before. When I did come back, revival was like, no one's gonna watch this shit anymore. Like that was like, it's like 20 years too late.
Yeah, but you know how some networks are, especially the really bad paranoid ones. They'll just they need their money. They need to justify their money sinkholes somehow. Oh, and speaking of money sinkholes, we got our last story this week, and it is a big one and a doozy. So much so that our boy Alex here, who loves analyzing the business of music, is going to be leading the charge. So go on, sir. You have the floor.
Okay, so iHeartMedia, they're a pretty big company. They own more radio stations in the country than any other company.
Like 2/3, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it's about 849 stations across the country.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And Rob and I both live in top 25 markets for iHeartRadio, which means we can't escape those frigging advertisements for their music festivals or their award shows or that fucking jingle. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about bankruptcy. For those of you who aren't in the know, recently Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy and they're prepping to shut down operations, citing a lot of debt from a leveraged buyout that included Mitt Romney's Bain Capital.
Why does he have to ruin things that I love?
They were left with about $5 billion in total debt that they could not recover from. And I bring this up because the same thing happened to iHeartMedia, formerly Clear Channel, back in 2008, as they were bought out in a leveraged buyout by a group of venture capital groups, including Bain Capital, for about $17.3 billion, with a combination of cash and tacked on debt, with the idea being the company will regrow and pay off that debt. It didn't happen. They're left with $20 billion in debt, with a B.
Hot damn.
Damn, that's like the box office gross of like the Avengers 20 times over.
And they don't have the cash, and they don't have the cash flow to get themselves out of it, which is a problem because when you're part of a leveraged buyout, the company that these capital groups are buying is used as their collateral. And all this information actually comes from a YouTube channel called Company Man, which has talked about both bankruptcy cases in great detail. And, well, going forward, iHeartMedia is going to be operating as normal. They're just in Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. But who knows if they're going to be able to get out of it, with the plan being they're going to try and cut their debt in half. But they do owe about $8.3 billion by 2019, which is the biggest chunk of their $20 billion. And most telling of all, there's going to be some restructuring. Some secured holders are going to be coming in to basically retake ownership of the company. This group will take about 94%, along with $13 billion of its old debt and $5.6 billion of new debt. A 5% group of junior holders will take $2 billion in old debt and $200 million in new. And the existing shareholders will get only a 1% ownership with no debt at all. And speaking as someone who has been subjected to iHeartMedia's terrible, terrible award shows and music festivals and their jingles and their friggin' corporate synergy, I say good. This company has gotten too big for their own good, and it's about time that all the decisions that have leading up to this, both as Clear Channel and as iHeartMedia, I do feel bad for, the talent, the on-air talent, and the radio stations themselves, but the company itself, it can fuck off.
This is going to affect quite a few stations here. Like, I just want to give an on-the-ground perspective from my neck of the woods, because pretty much every station, big station that I used to listen to, before I just said fucking and started, blasting on my CDs at my college radio station in the car, pretty much all the ones I listened to were either owned or, used to be owned by some variation of iHeartMedia, at some point. Just to look at the list right now, I'm looking at iHeart.com's radio listings for Miami, for, the city of Miami. The big one is, of course, Y100. That's Miami's #1 hit music station, as well as, I believe that's actually also sometimes a syndication of certain aspects of New York's Z100 radio, in which case mainly their morning talk show, Elvis Duran and the Morning Show. Of course, there's also another big hit station, 97.3. The easy listening station 93.1, which is fucking hilarious considering that back in the day, like back during my middle school days, that used to be like a rock station, like a modern day hard rock heavy metal station.
Ugh.
Wild. There's of course the hip hop station 99 Jams and 103.5 The Beat for hip hop and R&B, and shit, even big 105.9, which not only hosts one of the more popular radio talk shows around here, the Paul and Yo Wrong Show, but that is the, like, local classic rock station, for best music of, like, rock music of, like, 70s and 80s, and, now that we're 20 years from the 90s, they can throw 90s stuff in there, too, because that doesn't make me feel old in the slightest. And just a bunch of other stuff here, even, like, Spanish language, pop stations, like Amor 107.5, there is a lot of stuff that's going to be going under, and it's like, yeah, good, but you kind of have to wonder, like, about the splash damage, because this isn't just going to be contained to iHeartMedia. Like, stuff like this is probably going to reach out, especially, you kind of have to wonder how something like this might affect like, stockholders and people who might want to invest in radio and, like, FCC communications and all that.
Mm-hmm. This actually happened to another company as well, Cumulus, which their primary syndicate is Westwood One, which that's kind of a big deal in the radio industry. As for here in Charlotte, iHeartRadio's presence, they have some of the big stations. They have a classic rock station, which is the home station of the John Boy and Billy Morning Show. They have a sort of a jukebox station, which is everything from 70s pop to even some, oddly enough, 90s alternative rock. There's a country station, there's a top 40 station, there's a rock station, which a few years ago changed from regular active rock to alternative, which, But then there's another station here in the city, which has gone through so friggin' many different changes here. I'm looking this up right now. It's called Up 98.7. It's, it's a gospel station of some kind. It was previously a Hispanic radio station, which was previously Fox Sports Radio. Yeah, isn't that weird? And I'm trying to... I actually can't find information on this. I guess they're just like a translator station of some kind. I don't know, but yeah. The radio biz is funny. And by funny, I mean, terribly depressing.
Here's the thing I'm wondering. Like, if all the big radio stations are down. Whoever handles like actual music licensing for stations, like how's that going to affect the way they like charge and bill people? Like think of this like the main reason I know anything about this at all is of course following Nash, you know, the host of Radio Dead Air. He always, you know, spins the cool tunes, requests from fans, and, you know, what the fuck is wrong with you? That whole thing, it's all a bunch of good fun. But, like, the fact that he, you know, obviously doing what he does, he has to pay out, you know, a yearly licensing fee to just do what he does. If the big stations fail, does that mean it could be prohibitively more expensive for guys like him to do what he does? Because, you know, those licensors aren't making their money for the big stations. They have no fucking money left.
Yeah,
like, what the hell's happening?
I think we're going to have to do a follow-up on this to see where things go, because right now they're just filing for bankruptcy protection. If they go into Chapter 7 bankruptcy, that'll be a different beast entirely.
Man, the radio business is wild, crazy, and insane, but...
It's fucked up.
Yeah, with this kind of monopolizing control of the radio station, I can only mimic Alex's words. Good. Just a shame for everyone else caught in the crossfire of the mistakes of Bain Capital.
Thanks, Mitt Romney. 47%.
You dick. You motherfucker.
Yeah, so that covers all that news topic discussion, so now we just have to move on to the last bit of business here. The new album releases for the week of March 23rd, 2018. Starting at the top, we have the latest full length from Hot Topic staples Bless the Fall with Hard Feelings. Of course, the latest album from sludgy, stoner rockers The Sword with Used Future. The new album from experimental rock collective Yamantaka Sonic Titan with Dirt. A new collaborative EP from Westside Gun and Mr. Green titled Fly God Is Good All the Time. We got a new album from R&B singer Tony Braxton with Sex and Cigarettes. And one of the many bands of my existence, Jack White, is returning with his new solo album, Boarding House Beach. It's gonna be fun. So that's about it. So this is where we clean house and get the hell out of here. So Alex, where can they find you on the internet?
As always, or of Azure, pretty much anywhere. If you want to get in touch with me about my career post The Faceless, but don't get too close. You might get some infectious spreading going around.
See, Alex, this is the reason why we have the sneeze guard on top of the salad bar. You don't just get to use it for your Splatoon roleplay.
Well, nobody
Mark,
told me.
Mark, what about you?
Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at MaxHabitMedia, and also on my site, The Mind of Habit One, at thehabit1.wordpress.com. That's about it.
Cool. As for me, you could find me on, Twitter, Instagram, CuriousCat, at Rob Barracuda. Email me, Robert at SurrealResolution.com for all site concerns and memes and all the good stuff. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Google Play and iTunes. New audio-only episodes go up every Wednesday. Video usually goes up by the weekend on the official YouTube channel of Surreal Resolution. So, just go there, search Surreal Resolution, subscribe, hit the bell tab so you're always notified when new episodes of the podcast go up. Follow us on Twitter at SurrealReso, like us on Facebook, and, visit us www.surrealresolution.com, and find this podcast on its subdomain, decibelboost.surrealresolution.com, to listen to the archives of past episodes. Also, be sure to listen to Podcast O&A, where there is a new episode that just went up this past weekend.
Mm-hmm. And there might be a new short episode later this week, because our newsroom kind of blew up this morning.
Oh, boy.
Oh, we saw.
We saw. Be sure to keep up with our written content as well. Of course, we have a couple new album reviews that went up these past few days. Mark over here talked about the newest album from Lil Yachty.
Yeah. And no spoiler, it sucks.
And of course, I got to talk about the new album from Between the Buried and Me, which is pretty damn good, and hopefully I'll be able to get a review of the new Rivers of Nile release sometime this week. So stay tuned for that.
It's good.
Maybe we'll also force Mark to cover Triple X Tentacion.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, that happens.
Yeah, that happened. Anyway, be sure to jump into our Discord chat as well if you ever want to dink it up with the guys from the site and everything. And of course, shout out to producer Mr.E for graciously letting me use his music for this podcast. Links to his shit down in the description. Thank you all for joining us for episode 73 of This Bullshit. We will see you again next week, and until next time, there actually won't be a next time because this podcast and this website was bought out by Bain Capital.
Aw, damn it.
Hey, what? Don't talk about boobs.
What?